Hello and welcome to MediaPlex Friday Live, a presentation of St. Clair College Journalism. I'm your host, Matt Flood, and I'll be walking you through the latest in news, sports, weather, and much more. So, let's dive in. For the hospital. One of the petition creators, Lauren Crowley, says no one should have to face graphic signs and feel shamed from the protests after receiving an abortion. But the campaign coordinator for 40 Days for Life Windsor, Lori Eberhardt, says the group holds peaceful vigil protests outside of Windsor Regional and only carries signs saying pray to end abortion. Eberhardt also claims the bubble zone would infringe on the group's freedom of speech. Meanwhile, Windsor Regional Hospital CEO David Musage says he will bring up the issue in an upcoming Board of Directors meeting. In other news, do you know how to spell? Do you have a fondness for honey? Then you might want to head to the Chrysler Theater this Saturday. Our producer Ryan Percy has more.
Behind me is the Chrysler Theater that will turn into an arena this Saturday for a battle of bees. Spelling bees, that is. 28 elementary students from 14 Windsor-Essex schools will compete at the WFCU Credit Union Scripps Regional Spelling Bee. With CTV News anchor Jim Crichton hosting, we went to get his opinion on the importance of this event.
I'm delighted to be asked to do this because nothing is more important to me than proper speaking and spelling. It's been everything to me. It's been my career.
With the MediaPlex's own Veronique Mandel as one of the judges, we want to find out why spelling is so important to her in this day and age.
Everybody says, well, we've got spell check, but I don't think that's good enough, and I think whenever you allow students to actually learn how to spell, they are phenomenal.
After the 28 spellers are whittled down to one champion, that superb speller will win a WFCU Credit Union Educational Scholarship and an all-expense-paid trip to Washington, D.C. to take part in the Scripps National Spelling Bee. For the MEDIAPLEX News, I'm Ryan Percy.
If a competition of spelling isn't the sort of gladiatorial sport you're looking for, then you're in luck since we have Jordan Ferris in the studio for our sports report.
Thank you, Matt. So, breakdancing, Olympic sport? No, don't clear your ears, you heard me right. So breakdancing has come as one of the new stranger proposed sports for the 2024 Summer Olympics. But after the announcement, it was met with mostly positivity on the internet, and it was one of 4 new proposed sports. The 3 other include climbing, skateboarding, and surfing. And speaking of breaking, Zion Williamson suffered a grade 1 knee sprain after breaking his shoe 36 seconds into Duke's game versus North Carolina. The injury will sideline the projected first overall pick for a while. However, many commentators are questioning whether he should return and risk re-injury and lower his draft stock. And another big thing, Chelsea Football Club has received heavy sanctions from FIFA. The ruling comes due to a breach in transferring and registration of players under 18. Overall, the club had 29 minor players within the organization. The ban will prevent the club from being able to sign or transfer new players over the next 2 transaction periods. That's all for me. I'm going to throw it back to you, Matt.
Thank you, Jordan. Now I am going to throw it over to the most dangerous and scary part of my day, the weather report with Christian Bodwin.
Well, Matt, you might be surprised with this week's weather. We're starting off today with clear skies. It's currently -2, but feels like -6. Saturday will actually have positive numbers with a high of 5 that feels like 2 and a chance of showers. Sunday will be the same thing with a chance of showers and a high of 9 that feels like 5. Back to you, Matt.
Well, that good news does sound great, but from what I understand, if people were looking for this weekend to have nice weather, we ought to look again. Environment Canada has put out a special weather statement ahead of this Sunday, as winds are expected to pick up for most of Ontario. It's possible winds will reach 90 to 110 kilometers per hour, and they will be the strongest near the Great Lakes. And along with snowfall, there is some concern for power outages and structure damage, so keep an eye out. Today we're talking Sub-Zero swimming, sleeping, swing music, and more this Friday Live. But before we get into all that, Cody Rusan met with Amanda Allen earlier this week to find out our crime of the week. Let's see what they heard.
Hi there, I'm standing here with Amanda Allen. I just want to thank you for joining us here today. I understand that there are some stressful happenings going on right now, and can you just explain?
Yeah, unfortunately, Leamington OPP is asking for the public's assistance. They've got a missing person case, and Michael Gaudreau is 48 years old. He was last seen on February 14th at 2:30 in the morning at his address on Benny Avenue in Leamington. He's described as 5'10". He's a thin build, and although a recent picture of him shows him with long hair, he did actually just cut his hair short. So he's got short, wavy hair, green eyes, and he was last seen wearing a blue-gray jogging pants and a gray-brown short winter coat. So if anyone's got any information about his whereabouts, really, we need to know Michael's whereabouts leading up to February 14th. If anyone's seen or heard from him, friends or associates, we're asking anyone with any information at all to call Leamington OPP, 519-326-2544. Or always Crime Stoppers anywhere in the province. Our provincial number is 1-800-222-8477. If you've got information and you want to remain anonymous, please call us. Help us locate this missing person.
Now, obviously, we we hope that he will be found safe and sound. But as for other situations, we have there's a fundraiser coming up. I wouldn't call that a situation, though. Can you talk to us a bit about this fundraiser coming up on Friday?
Yeah, so while Leamington OPP is investigating that, Crime Stoppers is holding our first big fundraiser of the year. It's actually in Kingsville at Colasantes, and we're happy to say we are sold out. Tickets are sold out this year. It's going to be a great event, and we're looking forward to having the MediaPlex staff on hand to bring you live broadcasts and some interviews from the scene. So if you didn't get your tickets this year, folks, catchcrooks.com. The notice goes up early, even before Christmas, that the tickets are on sale, and we do sell out, so you don't want to miss this.
Now, big game dinner, what does that mean? What kind of food will there be?
Well, it is a unique menu, but we do have something for everyone. So we offer people a chance to try crocodile bites and alligator stew, and the menu changes every year. The chef there at Colasantes is so creative. She's a wonderful chef. But we do have roasted chicken too. So just in case people are not willing to try too far out the realm of everyday meals, there is something for everyone. Roasted chicken from Colasantes is always a staple.
Oh, well, at least there's roasted chicken. I want to thank you again for joining us here today. Back to you.
If the idea of your house being broken into is keeping you up at night, you might want to invest in a security system, because Jordan Ferris has the news on why sleep is so important to maintain your health.
When it comes to sleep, we all know that it's important to get enough, and that not doing so can lead to serious health issues. Such problems include heart disease, high blood pressure, and diabetes. But how exactly it causes some of these problems gets lost on a majority of the population. But a new study from the Massachusetts General Hospital takes a look into how sleep affects cardiovascular disease risk. The report shows that sleep is able to help control the production of inflammatory cells within bone marrow, also finding that when sleep was disturbed, the body's ability to control these cells begins to go down. This in turn leads to inflammation, leading to higher heart disease. And this is because of a hormone known as hypocreatine, which is produced in large levels when awake. The study found that when sleep deprived, hypocreatine was less likely to be produced, and the control of white blood cells was less effective. I'm Jordan Ferris, and this has been Your Health Minute.
Now, I hope my voice isn't putting you to sleep, because there is a lot you can learn from a career in radio, like making an amazing speaking voice that can carry over into a television career. Joyce St. Antoine got to sit down for 3 minutes with local legend, anchor Jim Crichton.
Hello, I'm Joyce St. Antoine, and this is 3 Minutes with Jim Crichton. Jim Crichton is the anchor at CTV Windsor. So what path led you towards working at CTV?
Do you know, Joyce, I didn't start out to be a broadcaster at all. I went to Brock University in St. Catharines, and it was with the intention of being an English teacher, but I got involved with the campus radio station, and that started my close to 45-year career in broadcasting.
How long have you been at CTV, and what was your experience like?
I've been here for almost 20 years. I started in 2000, the first 3 years of which were in London. We used to do a remote broadcast into Windsor from London at that time. In 2003, I moved here, and I've been here ever since, closing in on my 19th year with the company. It's been a terrific ride. We've had different ownership through the years. When I first started working, we were owned by Chum. The station was called the New WI at that time. Then it became A Channel and simply A, and under CTV we're CTV2.
Do you have any advice for students going into the journalism field?
I would say be yourself. I think the most important gift that you can give is the gift of yourself. Be honest. I would not be one to get into it with an agenda of social change, for example. I know some journalists consider that their mandate. I don't. I view this as a craft, and I like to perfect it. I look at it as a broadcasting skill.
Is there a chance you own all the ties that you wear on the news, or is it from the wardrobe?
Oh, no, those are my ties. I do have a clothing allowance, but I've been collecting ties through the years. Do you know I wore ties in high school sometimes, too? Not all the time, but sometimes, so I'm a tie guy.
On your days off, do you wear ties?
Sometimes I do, and here's an interesting story about that. I discovered once when I didn't wear a tie, I felt the broadcast was less successful. This was in radio when I didn't have to have a tie. But I felt when I was properly attired, I did a better job.
What would be something that not many people know about you?
Probably my love of cats. Everybody knows I like old cars, but I'm a cat lover. I love animals in general, but my daughter brought a cat into my life. I was indifferent to it at the time, but I came to be a cat lover. So we're on our second or third cat. They don't last forever, but we've missed them and loved them all.
What is the best part of your job?
I would say the actual broadcast itself. You don't love every minute of everything you do. I think that's true of anybody's line of work. But after all the hard work is done, when you get to sit down behind the desk and do the broadcast, that's the part that I like best.
Thank you for joining us, Jim.
Thank you, Joyce. My pleasure.
This was 3 Minutes with Jim Crichton. I'm Joyce St. Antoine.
Well, with winter slowly turning into a rain-filled mud season, there were a number of individuals that decided to weather even colder waters for a good cause. Abdullah Husami went out to find out more.
With more than 160 plungers, Polar Plunge took place on Friday, February 15th, where people from different ages and groups gathered together at St. Clair College Sportsplex in support of Special Olympics Ontario. Members from Windsor Police, the OPP, and the Canadian Armed Forces attended the event. Austin Comtois is a representative of the Canadian Armed Forces who came with his unit to support the cause, and here he is sharing his experience.
It was a good experience. It's chilling for sure, but it's definitely gratifying. It's an experience that you can't get anywhere else really except in a polar plunge pool or going up to the Arctic or a really cold lake, right? So it's fun to do with your buddies and it's a good time.
So far, about $24,000 has been raised, and the goal for Windsor Essex is to reach $60,000. For MediaPlex News, I am Abdurrahim Al-Hussami.
Now, if you were there and you dove into those frigid sub-zero waters, I can guarantee your body is shivering up and you're looking for something to warm you up. Miranda Monahan is here to tell you why you should be choosing tea.
Hello, I'm Miranda Monahan, and this is your Health Minute. Tea is the most popular drink in the world next to water. Not only is it a tasty drink, but it can have many health benefits. Here are some of those benefits. 1. Tea contains antibiotics which can help keep your body safe from damage. 2. Tea has less caffeine than coffee. 3. Tea can reduce your risk of heart attack and stroke. 4. Tea can help you lose weight. 5. Tea can help protect your bones. 6. Tea can whiten your teeth. 7. Tea can boost your immune system. 8. Tea can help fight cancer. 9. Herbal tea can soothe your digestive system. And 10. Tea is calorie-free. I'm Miranda Monahan, and this has been your Health Minute.
So, speaking of hot water, Christian Bodwin went out to see why some individuals are not happy with some changes that Doug Ford's government has been making.
Recently, Doug Ford launched a plan to change the Ontario Autism Program to help eliminate the waiting list for children seeking autism therapy. However, some people are not happy with the changes that have been put in place. A group of concerned parents rallied in front of the Ministry of Community and Social Services to make their voices heard. Melissa Grass is one of the organizers of the rally. She believes that this new plan doesn't take into account a lot of the needs that children with autism require.
As parents, we want our kids to thrive. We want them to be a functioning member of society, and they're not going to get that with this new program because they're not getting the education and the therapy that they need. They need clinically proven therapy so that they can excel in adulthood, realistically, because what they did was they took that opportunity away.
From MediaPlex News, I'm Christian Bodwin.
Now, I got a nice chance to catch up on my sleep during the long weekend, but what did you do on Family Day? Lauren O'Brien went out to see what was being offered.
There were smiles all around this Family Day, from free skating at Charles Clark Square, extended hours at Adventure Bay Water Park, along with arts and crafts sessions at the Art Lab. There was plenty to do in Windsor this long weekend. First introduced to Ontario in 2008, Family Day offers parents the chance to spend time with their loved ones. The Art Lab held an open studio which is designed for young artists from the ages of 4 to 12. Children have access to a variety of activity centers and full creative freedom. Emily Awad came to the Art Lab to spend her long weekend together with her children Addie and Elliot.
I like it. It's a good. I like having a holiday in February, and it's a good time to make time for your family.
While Family Day is a day to celebrate with your children and loved ones, there's nothing stopping you from making every day a family day. For MediaPlex News, I'm Lauren O'Brien.
Now, I don't know about you, but ever since our producer showed me this band called The Correspondents, I've been back on an electro swing kick that I haven't been on since high school. I also heard that's what's on discussion today between Sam Sinclair and Brett Blake. Take it away, music guys.
Music guys. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Brett Blake.
I'm Sam Sinclair.
And we're the music guys. Today, we're actually talking about something that Sam's pretty passionate about. It's like Kanye version 2.0.
It's not that intense. I don't think it's not that intense.
But we are getting pretty passionate about this. Is swing music going to be coming back?
In the 2020s.
For the 20s. The Roaring 20s 2.0. Do you think it's going to come back?
Okay, but when you say come back, what do you mean? Because we were talking about this before, and coming back usually means into the mainstream, into the popular. Like, there is swing music being made. There's a lot of jazz music and swing music that is still being made. It's just that people aren't listening to it.
Nothing will ever be as popular as Lone Digger. But I do think it could come back, but it'll just be like a weird, like a kind of like a subgenre almost. It'll just be like the indie kids remaking swing music.
Well, I mean, kids who are like the indie kids, quote unquote, are already listening to swing music and jazz music. So saying coming back usually means that it's going to blow up and become popular again. So if you don't think it's going to be popular again, that doesn't mean that it's coming back. I don't think it will, because I listen to a lot of swing music. I listen to a lot of jazz music, and I don't see it coming back in the next year.
Yeah, it won't hit top 40s. But yeah, I think it will. I think it will be more in production, but it just won't be as popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
so
that's all the time we have for today.
That's our time. So I'm Brett Blake.
I'm Sam Sinclair,
and we're the music guys. Back to you.
Music guy. Yeah, I kind of understand the point these guys are making, but if I'm going to say something here, electro swing music might actually be a really cool genre to hear in like clubs and stuff. It might be really interesting to get that around. I don't know what you guys think, but I think that'd be really cool. And while electro swing is a throwback to the Roaring 20s, I've heard Josie Richards is here today to give us one of the best flicks on Netflix. And this time it's a 90s throwback?
Thank you, Matt. Welcome to the best flicks on Netflix with your host, Josie Richards. As we get closer to the weekend, I know you all want nothing more than to kick back and relax. And what's a better way to relax than by lying on the couch and binge watching Netflix? That's where I come in. I'll be giving you a weekly recommendation on what I think are the best flicks on Netflix to watch. In honor of February being Black History Month, I've got another show for you that features Black talent. This week's show is Everything Sucks. It's a coming-of-age story about a group of high school students set in the 90s who are coming to terms with their sexuality, mental health, and just growing up. The show takes place in Boring, Oregon, which surprisingly is a real place. We're introduced to Luke O'Neill, the series' main protagonist, and his two friends, Tyler and McQuaid. Now, Luke isn't one of the cool kids, but he and his two best friends decide to join AV Club. This is where he meets his crush, Kate Winston, who also happens to be a closeted lesbian. From there, Luke serenades Kate with a rendition of Oasis's Wonderwall, and due to peer pressure, they begin dating. At first, the relationship's good, maybe even great, but since Kate is a lesbian and coming to terms with her own sexuality, the pair ultimately break up. The remainder of the series has the AV kids working together with the drama kids to produce a movie, while continuing to navigate sexualities that were considered to be taboo in the 90s. So here are 3 reasons why I think you should check out Everything Sucks. 1. The portrayal of race. So I brought up this show during Black History Month because Luke, played by Jahai De'Allo Winston, is a young black actor rocking the scene. We also get to see multiple interracial relationships on screen, which is something that is rare to see even in the media today. Everything Sucks doesn't dwell on the differences between people of different races, but instead focuses on the commonalities everyone experiences while growing up. 2. The 90s nostalgia. Having been born in the 90s myself, watching Everything Sucks brought up feelings of nostalgia for a decade I barely knew. The music, use of VCRs, and clothing styles will have you reminiscing for your carefree days as a 90s kid. And 3. The actors. Jahai De'Allo Winston plays the role of love-struck teen, angsty son, and diva filmmaker with such believability, it can be hard to remember that the show is not real. Kate, played by Peyton Kennedy, also gives a stellar performance. She displays a wide range of emotions and really makes you feel her struggle as she discovers herself. And there you have it! Tune into the best flicks on Netflix with me, your host, Josie Richards, next week for another recommendation. Back to you, Matt.
Now, $3,000 is a lot of something. If I had to spend $3,000, I'd probably spend it all on coffee. I mean, imagine all the rims they get to roll. I get so much coffee back. Great value. Now, I can't even imagine the skill it takes to score 3,000 points in any sport. But Tate Harris has the story on one basketball player that did just that.
Here's Anderson. Good! And there it is. Ryan Anderson just scored his 3,000th NBL Canada point.
On February 7th, Ryan Anderson became the second player in NBLC history to score 3,000 points. But his journey to get there began in his hometown of Seattle.
To be honest, when I started playing, I wasn't the best. I didn't look like the other players. I was chubby. But you know, people have this idea of what a basketball player looks like. You know, when you draft a basketball player in the NBA, you know, he looks like this, or look at his arms and look at his chest and look at his legs and look how high he jumps. You know, it's the same problem Steph Curry faced when he was drafted. They said he's not a prototypical guard, but he's one of the best players to ever play the game, possibly, you know, or shoot the ball in the league, you know. So I kind of faced that a lot. So I've always had this competitive fire to prove people wrong, kind of, because they judge me based on how I look. So I always had a fire.
My name is Ryan Anderson. I'm from Seattle, Washington, and I went to University of Nebraska.
It was announced that Anderson signed to the Ottawa Skyhawks on August 16, 2013, making next season his NBLC debut.
Here's Anderson with just a minute left in this game. Still a 6-point lead, 110-104. 1 minute left. Crouch drives in, back out, Anderson, 3-ball. Gets it and goal!
Everything at that time when I was 24, I was trying to make sure everything was calculated. I was only nervous to see if this league would be competitive, the talent level was good enough. The money was there, and I was like, well, I'll just give it a try, and it was definitely, the talent level was definitely there.
Anderson quickly became a star in the NBLC. He is a 3-time NBLC champion, an All-Star, a Finals MVP, and now only the second player in the league's history to hit 3,000 points. Windsor Express commentator Aaron Sanders says Anderson's star status goes beyond his accolades.
He doesn't have a black mark onto him, believe it or not. I mean, he's the guy that on and off the court,
you could have a nice talking to. You could learn a lot from him. So I think that's one of the main reasons why he could be the GOAT of NBL Canada.
I can't even describe you. I can't even explain to you guys the feeling of like just gratefulness and you know the feeling when you work so hard for your dream, like a dream that you worked hard for, and it comes true.
Time will tell how long Anderson has left in the NBLC, but one thing is for sure, he isn't worried about being remembered for his basketball skills.
Definitely want to be remembered as a, first of all, I always tell Kyrie this, he's like my little brother. Just be a good person. When basketball is said and done, you know, it's cool to play basketball, but I think being a good person is better because that's what's going to impact people's lives more than you shooting a shot. And he can shoot the ball, but he's a great person. I really appreciate him being a great person, and that's what I want to be remembered for, being a great person, spreading a lot of love, and you know, treating people the way I would want to be treated.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of MediaPlex Friday Live. We are a presentation from the St. Clair College Journalism and Media Convergence program. Our production team consists of our producer Ryan Percy and your host, myself, Matt Flood. This week we had contributions from Ryan Percy, Jordan Ferris, Christian Bodwin, Joy St. Antoine, Miranda Monahan, Abdul Al-Husami, Cody Rusan, Lauren O'Brien, Tate Harris, Sam Sinclair, Brett Blake, and Josie Richards. Special thanks goes out to Amanda Allen from Crime Stoppers for meeting with Cody. I'm Matt Flood. Have a great weekend.